Having been said, all of the president's priorities are in the bill, the two bills. Our members, Republican members, are extremely happy with provisions both related to taxes and spending. I'm particularly thrilled to say goodbye to the medical device tax, the health insurance tax, and of course the Democrats are excited to get rid of the Cadillac tax. So we have the defense plus up we want, and there are certain issues that some of us care a lot about. Senator Young, who's standing behind me, and I are deeply interested in T21, raising the ability to purchase tobacco to age 21. So there's just a lot to like in both of these bills. We'll be moving to them when they come over. In the meantime, I've filed cloture on 13 district judges, which we'll have to process before we get to the appropriation bills. But I think we're ending on a pretty good note here, in spite of all the challenges that are swirling around both the House and the Senate these days.
As the leader pointed out, we're on a glide path to get all this done. It would have been nice to have finished a lot of these bills individually earlier in the year, which we tried to do, and the Democrats consistently blocked and objected to that. But big win today, defense authorization bill getting done. Congratulations to Chairman Inhofe and to his staff and to all the folks on the Armed Services Committee who worked really hard to get that across the finish line. It does give the troops the largest pay increase that they've seen in a decade, authorizes important programs, the B-21 bomber, for example, which will end up at Ellsworth Air Force Base in South Dakota. And as the leader pointed out, if we can get these minibuses across the finish line here, we can fund a lot of other critical, important priorities for our military readiness, one of which is there's funding in there for 98 F-35s, which are essential if we're to continue to maintain air dominance in areas and theaters around Russia and China. So overall, I think this is, as the leader said, a good way to wrap things up. I'm encouraged that we'll get hopefully these all done and continue to fund important priorities like veterans. The VA Mission Act, which is something that's been authorized for a few years, receives significant funding, about $9 billion in FY20 and I think $11 billion or a little bit more than that in FY21, and that provides the care for those who have served and defended our country in the past, and we're grateful for that. So we just got to get it through the week, and hopefully everything will come together and we'll be able to do that.
And if you're wondering what Republicans are going to be talking about for the next couple of weeks at home, it's going to be the fact that Christmas came early for American workers this year. Every Republican senator is going home with a handout that talks about the fact that over 7 million jobs were created since President Trump was elected, that in November the U.S. economy created 266,000 new jobs, shattering all expectations, that wages continue to rise with average hourly earnings at a 3.1% year-over-year growth, that the average American family has seen a $5,000 increase in take-home pay, that unemployment fell to a 50-year low at 3.5%, and historic low unemployment in all of the categories where they measure unemployment. For women, for African Americans, for Latinos, for Asians, for veterans, historic low unemployment. Better trade deals like USMCA and with China, rolling back red tape that for every new regulation added, 8 were cut. And finally, after 2 years, the Tax Cut and Jobs Act continues to benefit workers across the nation. This is exactly what Republican senators are going to be talking about all across the country over the next couple of weeks at home.
I think as of about 1 o'clock this morning, Senator Grassley and others finished up the tax extenders package, and so current tax policy in one way or another has been extended. The health extenders, we're going to have to visit that again in the spring, but all those short-term health policies extended until the 22nd of May. And just things in these bills, when people look at them, that took a long time to get there, but make a difference. We've now, in 4 years, increased our commitment to NIH for healthcare research by 40%, another $2.6 billion in this bill. We've fully funded what is believed to be the amount of money necessary to reach President Trump's goal of eliminating the HIV epidemic. We've expanded the opioid money so that it also can now be used for other addictives, meth and other things that often come right along with an opioid addiction. Much more flexibility in that $3.8 billion. And whether it was child care needs or Head Start, record levels of funding that Democrats and Republicans could agree to without a lot of language that would be new to the bill that we wouldn't have agreed to. It took us a while to get there, but I think when people look at this bill, they're going to find lots of things they like.
For 58 years, Congress has been able to pass a bipartisan National Defense Authorization Act, and I am so very thankful that this year we were able to accomplish that as well. And so congratulations to Chairman Inhofe for helping spearhead what has been a difficult process, but one that was successful. So within that package, a number of initiatives were passed. Some that I am very proud of course, is making sure that we are giving our service members the pay raise that they have deserved for so very long. So that has been accomplished. We are also expanding services for survivors of sexual assault and domestic violence within the military, and also providing the resources and the authorities necessary for our Special Operations Command. So those are just a few of the things that we have seen within the National Defense Authorization Act. And as someone who served in the Middle East as a company commander who wore the nation's uniform and saw the needs and necessary items that my soldiers had to have, the fact that we are able to provide those now for our men and women to make sure that they return home safely to their families upon deployment and redeployment, it does make me feel very good. I am, again, thankful that we were able to get this accomplished in a bipartisan manner, get it through Congress and on to the President.
Well, I'm just thankful as we approach year's end that amidst all the debate and disagreement that has been occurring on Capitol Hill, we were able to get this year-end spending package put together. Bipartisan in nature with many important things there for the American people. We are funding the essential functions of government, but we have now come together in a bipartisan way and recognized that our young people, our middle and high school students, need protection from the scourge of tobacco through e-cigarettes and vaping, something the leader and other members have joined me on and shown some real leadership on. We have once and for all done something that I've been trying to do my part to get accomplished ever since I entered the U.S. House of Representatives, and that is get a permanent repeal of the Obamacare medical device tax, thus providing certainty to one of our most innovative industries, ensuring some measure of certainty to those families who depend on the medical device sector to remain vibrant for their livelihoods, and most importantly, advantaging all of those patients who depend on next-generation medical devices to sustain their lives and improve their lives. Indiana, of course, leading the way in this industry. And then lastly, as a Marine, I am really, really pleased and even proud that we've come together and say, you know, it's time that we gave a significant boost to the salaries of the men and women who put their lives on the line on our behalf so that we might be free, a 3.1% increase in pay for our military men and women. That's something to celebrate as we approach year's end. So hopefully we can get this package onto the President's desk and we'll all act expeditiously as we approach year's end.